Okay. Blue Protocol honest first impression network test. Wait. Was it this one?
Has some insanely massive gameplay. Blue Protocol has some insanely massive gameplay problem, and unless Bandai Namco decide to address some of these, Blue Protocol is honestly
almost
just not
finished.
in the greatest state right now. Many Japanese players are currently complaining about the exact same issues that I have also experienced in the endgame of Blue Protocol network test, with even the biggest with even this.
Let's have a look.
Many Japanese players are currently complaining about the exact same issues that I have.
An anti-tester who really thinks this is going to be popular. It's a pity, but this isn't popular. Wow, I cleared going on pillar, but the difficulty level is too high. It's really tiring to do it. Lol. Control's more fun.
I've also experienced in the endgame of Blue Protocol network test.
I feel like I'm being forced to do a lot of work.
With even this Japanese article saying that they currently do not recommend playing Blue Protocol in its current state. In fact, you can already observe one of the first issues on the screen right now. This game is very terribly optimized, especially in TAP. I'm currently running a 2070 Super and I'm getting a whopping 10 FPS. No
Shit, what am I running? I don't even know what I'm running.
matter where I go. This is only one of the major problems that we'll uncover in today's video. Hey, I'm TenTen and this is a very honest review of Blue Protocol network test after playing it for a long period of time. As a RPG, Blue Protocol felt a lot more like Monster Hunter compared to traditional RPG like Final Fantasy XIV Online or Lost Ark. The main gear progression in the game involved having you collecting rare material either through monsters, boss drop in the dungeons, or open world harvesting to get those rare material, and then you can craft the next level of weapon or item to advance your characters. Combat in Blue Protocol is rather straightforward. Every single class comes with a normal attack, which is your left click, an identity skill, which is your right click, and finally an ultimate ability. In addition to that, you can choose 4 skills to
What is timers? Wait, is that the timers for your abilities?
And finally an ultimate ability. In addition to that,
there are timers for your ability. Bro, that looked like a lot of timers. Like it looks like your cooldowns are constantly off.
You can choose 4 skills to equip at any given moment, in addition to 2 summon, also known as a magi, to accompany you in combat, for a total of 6 ability plus an ultimate, and then your normal attack and your identity. In addition to that, you can also perform a dodge action by using the control button on your keyboard. That will perform your dodge roll, which as far as I know is an iframe. My main complaint when it comes down to Blue Protocol combat is that for the majority of the time, you're just going to be spamming your normal attack. Your 4 ability doesn't really have the sense of rotation or combo. They don't really tie into each other in any meaningful way, so you kind of just toss them out whenever they're off cooldown. But on top of just having low interactive skills and the fact that you only have 4 skills, some of these skills just have really long cooldown. Some of the skills in the game have 50.
Well, that's what I was just saying. 55 seconds cooldown ability, 95 seconds cooldown for Imagine, and a 209 second cooldown for an ultimate. That's like, bro, 2 minutes? That's a whole ass end game raid in Lost Ark. If you got a cracked team. What the fuck? You just sitting there waiting.
5-second cooldown, your summon or your Imagi generally have a minute to a minute 30-second cooldown, and finally your ultimate ability have a 200-second cooldown.
Bro, I could get a tattoo during that.
The end result is that you're just gonna be spamming normal attack majority of the time. How much skill expansion is there?
How much skill expression?
Right there yet? Nope.
Just left click and right click.
To be fair though, I was probably playing the lowest effort class in the game. If you're playing something...
The thing is, another problem of having long cooldowns is you're going to be using these abilities more scarcely. You're going to be scared to use them abilities because if you use them wrongfully, you would not want to... You would just waste it, basically. Like, you would be much more scared to waste these abilities because of the long cooldown they have as well. So you're not going to willy-nilly throw them out.
like mage, then you actually have a energy meter that you have to manage, plus mages is a lot more spammable, and if you're playing a melee class in a higher level dungeon, then you have to involve a lot more by watching the enemy attack and start dodging. There's also an elemental damage system in the game which you can observe under the boss HP bar, which is currently infected with the earth status. When you eventually fill up the entire bar, the boss will get staggered, which allows you to get free DPS. As far as I know, there's no elemental reaction system in Blue Protocol, unlike games like Genshin Impact, and it's mostly primarily only used for debuffing the bosses. For what it's worth though, you can change your class at any time on the same character in Blue Protocol by equipping the corresponding weapon for that class. You have to level each class separately, similar to Final Fantasy XIV, but it is possible to play every single class on the same character, so if you ever get bored of one class, you could always look to switch to a different class and try it out.
I like that because you don't have to make a different character every single time you want to try something new. I feel like for MMO standards, sometimes it's better to just stick to one character, and if you want to make an ult, you make an ult. Because it's much more diverse than, for example, in Blue Protocol, as you can see, everybody here is a DPS. Everybody here is a DPS that uses a different weapon, right? It's not easy for you to switch from like a fucking berserker to a bard in Lost Ark. That's why the ult system is so important, right? When games like these, making separate characters for literally doing the same thing is dead. Yeah, like in Lost Ark or BDO, exactly. I'm not sure about BDO. I feel like they could have pulled it off in BDO more than they could have pulled it off in Lost Ark, because in Lost Ark it's more class and identity and different stats, different weapons, different accessories. Everything is tied to your character. You know, it's just like a lot of bullshit that just makes it impossible to just change your class on a whim or your abilities. But they could have. Maybe they could have done it in BDO, but I'm not sure about Lost Ark. I think it's impossible for Lost Ark just because of the way the system is structured. But in this game, it looks like it's doable. Like they done it. It's possible.
Having low involvement in combat is one of the biggest complaints I've seen on the Japanese player side, since you only get 4 ability, with some having a really long cooldown regardless of what class you're playing or what dungeon you're doing. But we have a much bigger problem to uncover with Blue Protocol: the gear progression system. The gear system in Blue Protocol involve your primary weapon and then 2 summons that you can use in battle, also known as Imagi, and then finally 5 insignia, which is your armor slot. Each of these items will contribute to your battle score, which is how you progress in the game. If you play Blue Protocol normally by following the main story quest, within the first 2 hours of your gameplay, eventually you're gonna hit this church, which is your first major progression wall. When you first unlock the church dungeon by following the main story quest, it is very likely
he's level 7
wall.
And the fucking mobs are level 12.
When you first unlock the church dungeon by following the main story quest, it is very likely that you'll be at level 6 or level 7 with maybe 200 battle score. But the church dungeon demand you to be level 12-ish, as well as a 700 battle score, which is...
You got 200 battle score, and they're requiring 720.
An extreme jump from where you are at the main story quest, with no clear indication of how to actually progress your gear to that point of the game.
But he says within 2 hours of playing. How could that be worse? This is the beginning of the game. This is where the game is supposed to be holding your hand, showing you what to do. And now they're like, yo, yeah, you can't go there. Yo, so how do I become powerful enough to go there? Just fucking figure it out. Hit some mobs a couple of times. Level up, man. Don't be a pussy.
In my personal opinion, this will be the biggest cause of Blue Protocol failure, is because many players would drop out of the game at this point, since the gear progression wall is just way too huge, even within the first 2 hours of the game.
But that's the thing though. If this is the beginning of the game, and they're telling you to go and grind out for hours before you could enter like the first major stage, then people will think that that's like a regular thing. And for some people, too slow of a progression is a turn-off. Too slow of a combat is a turn-off. Too slow of a progression is also a massive turn-off. So for example, if they're telling you at the beginning of the game to farm out for hours to hit a level 12, or maybe, okay, level 10, let's say level 10, or at least like battle score like 500, because you could probably do it with a battle score of 500, right? It's usually how these games work. If you play well enough and you're patient, you could do it. and hopefully they give you extra XP when you're lower level, so you could boost up higher as well. But like, too slow of progression is just not fun. And going around and farming mobs, yes, I don't have a problem with farming mobs. I've been doing that like in just all MMOs period, like just running around and farming mobs. Like that's fine, it's branded farming, okay, it's whatever, right? I don't have a problem with that, but doing it for too long, people will have a problem with it. Because people want to progress faster. People want to have a fast and dynamic gameplay. Or just a game overall. I don't know how it will go. I'll play it and I'll see.
Fortunately, when the game eventually do get released on America, I will be making videos and guide on how to get past some of these major barriers. So if you're new here and you're enjoying the video, consider...
Thank you, TenTen. I appreciate you making guides and everything. I won't watch anything. I'll just do it raw. I'll do it raw style on stream.
Subscribing to not miss out on future video, and maybe also leave a like for the YouTube algorithm as well. Let's start off with leveling your own characters. Leveling your character in this game is extremely slow. Side quests are really tedious, but doesn't give a lot of EXP. Dungeon run can net you a okay amount of EXP, but they're extremely long. So what is the most efficient way to get EXP? Hunting groups. You're gonna acquire majority of your EXP simply by killing monsters, and one of the most efficient way to do that is to simply find a hunting spot where there's really good mob spawn, and you just basically kill everything on site. You only have to hit the mob once in order to get credit, which gives you the drop as well as EXP. So often you'll find a bunch of players sitting at really popular spot, fighting over monsters and just killing everything on site. In comparison, quests in this game feel...
Sounds okay. What if there's gonna be too many people doing the same thing? I do not like personally the idea of having channels in a game. So making sure there is enough open world mobs or groups of mobs or good spawns is actually ideal for this. Then you could go around and check or join, or like if there's too many, okay, I'm gonna go to this group, or there's too many, I'm gonna go to the other group. Or maybe farming at later times during the day. You know, people like to farm in the degen hours, the brain dead hours, where they just do nothing but farm. Having that balance is very important for me. I don't like just changing channels. It's easy, but just, I don't know, it just turns you off. Wait, what? Lamar, I have nothing to eat in the house and no money on me. Salvation it is. Bro, just go to sleep, man. Go to sleep for supper. It works for me.
Extremely unrewarding and tedious. You often find multiple quests that ask you for the exact same thing, such as killing 20 enemy or collecting 20 flower in this zone. I can literally find 3 to 4 quests that's asking for the exact same thing, and you feel like you're doing the same shit again. This one, collect 30 material from this place, and then the next quest come back and ask, hey, can you collect 10 more at the exact same places, exact same shit, and you collect 10 more. Yeah.
Yo, but that's the one because the one before was the level 1 quest and this is level 2 quest. So you have to collect 10, and then after you collect 10, the step 2 is to collect 20, and then you get the final step for the third star for the final completion is where you collect 30 of them. Yes, that's how it works. There is tiers to this shit, and you get a bit extra rewards every single time, and then you complete it. Yes, the same thing with mobs too.
30 more. And you can see how this one I haven't done yet, because I already collected like...
Wait, you already slept for breakfast, so now you can't sleep for supper. Well, shit, you're gonna have to go and do it the old school way, man. Grab your fucking bow, your machete, just whatever. Go out into the wild and just farm like a good old, you know, like a good old caveman, man. Like, it is what it is, man. Fuck it.
Like 40, 50. Yeah, I already collected like 40, 50. And then this quest pop up, I'm like, hey, can you actually do the exact same shit you just did again? Go back to the same place, do the exact same thing. Collect 30 more from me. And you have to do it because this gives you the recipe for whatever this insignia is. This water bottle, the world outside insignia. Right, and it just feels really chorly. It feels really chorly. But leveling is actually the easy part of the progression. Obtaining new gear that will increase your battle score is the real difficulty when it comes down to the game. Obtaining rare material and crafting newer and better gear is the way you progress your gear in Brute Protocol, and these could be extremely tedious to get. Some of these rare material might come from few bosses that spawn after a certain amount of random interval, and you just gotta be there when it does spawn and hope there are a lot of people there as well to kill these bosses, because they do take a long time.
Nice, that's a real MMO feeling. But the thing is, That's if you play solo, my friend. Me and my friends, we're probably gonna play together. We're probably gonna jump on Blue Protocol together. If you guys want to jump on and play with us too, please feel free to, you know, like and subscribe, because this will probably be a YouTube video, right? Yeah, on launch, when it launches, it depends what day it is. If it's gonna be my work day, then I'll leave it for the weekend. If it's gonna be during the week or in the middle of the week, I will be live. I will be streaming, and we'll be just grinding out together. So yes, we'll be trying to hit up those bosses. We'll be trying to do everything as much as possible. The more people, the merrier. Like they said, it's all about farming in groups, right?
To kill. Other time, it would just ask for rare material that drop from regular monsters. In this case, on the screen, I'm looking for free goblin's hair. These materials have extremely low drop rate, which is again why you see hunting group just going around and hitting every single monsters, because everybody is looking for these kind of rare material, and of course you need multiple of them. These drop are actually by name as well, meaning that you have to hit the right goblin at the right place to get the right drop. Other goblin, such as Elderly Goblin, which is the red goblin on the screen, does not actually count. It drops a different material and it doesn't contribute to whatever you're crafting. At the very least, when you're hunting for a rare monster drop, you're still somewhat playing the game and you're still getting EXP, so you're progressing in some kind of way. The main problem of Brew Protocol is the
harvesting in the capital city. Sounds about right. Yes.
Rather than asking for rare material from either bosses or few monsters, it could also ask for rare material from pure harvesting. And the way you get
wait. Let's go back because I messed up.
Harvesting RNG. Rather than asking for rare material from either bosses or few monsters, it could also ask for rare material from pure harvesting. And the way you get these rare harvesting material is simply by running across the entire map, collecting every single node you see across, and praying at every single one of them that it is gonna drop the one you need with an extremely low drop chance. You see all these nodes in front of me, right? These are like resource harvest spot, and basically like you just have to go through each one of them and harvest every single one of them, and each one of them has like a 1% chance of being the grass you need, and then you need like 10 of them, so you end up just running around the entire map gathering grass. That is the entire game of Brew Protocol, bro. The low drop rate on rare material is by far the #1 biggest complaint when it comes down to the Brew Protocol network test, especially considering that these nodes are really spread apart and they respawn really slowly, making your entire experience just running across the entire map and collecting grass. Because of the way the
my favorite, I love this. This is gonna be my favorite thing about this game, because I'm special and I'll get lucky and I'll get 10 in a row.
Gear progression work in this game, it is almost mandatory that you do this and just start collecting grass at some point of the game. This is because in order for you to vertically advance your character, you must first advance your character horizontally. In order for you to obtain the next tier of weapon in the game, you have to craft it. Say for example the level 10 thunder weapon, you have to obtain a bunch of rare material through the same process, but most importantly, beat the corresponding dungeon, in this case the 270 battle score dungeon, to obtain the boss material drop.
Why is there such a jump? Oh, this is for endgame stuff. So this is the same dungeon. Okay, I see how it is. This is the same dungeon, but the difficulty spikes up for the endgame players, for the 930s and above. And it will probably drop different materials, but for that to upgrade that weapon or something like that.
But in order for you to get from 200 battle score to 270 battle score, you have to advance your character horizontally by improving your Imagi or improving your insignia. The game kind of guides you through how to obtain each one of them through the adventure book, and by completing the adventure book, it is most likely that you have the material to craft the next level of the insignia or even give you the recipe. But again, each one of these quests are extremely tedious and involve asking you to, say, collect a bunch of rare material, and you end up just going around and harvesting and doing the exact same thing over and over. Overall, it feels like you're just doing a bunch of meaningless shit, especially with how low the drop rate is, to have a chance to progress your character. Keep in mind that until you get the next weapon, your character doesn't really do more damage, so you might be fighting harder and harder enemy to get those rare drop, but your character doesn't do more damage to help you kill them. I'll make a separate video diving deeper into the huge progression wall problem with Brew Protocol, but in my very honest personal opinion, this, combined with the fact that you're just grinding against low drop.
Why the fuck is there such a high like increase? What's the point of that? What is this?
Drop rate will be the #1 cause of Brew Protocol failing ultimately. I honestly think Brew Protocol would be a game with really high potential. The world looked really amazing, the aesthetic looked really cool, and the end game, while it is simple, does get the job done. It'll be a really cool friend to play with your friends. And I still plan on making content on this game in the future, so again, stay tuned. Alright, hold on. Future me here. As I was approaching the end of editing this video, looked like the director has already made comment about some of these issues that I talked about in this video. And of course, many player feedback as well. So that's how you know it was legit. Many player was complaining the same thing that I was complaining in this video, right?
Yeah. I literally... This video is perfect because I wanted to stop this and pause. And I wanted to say, because a lot of people will be bitching, they would 100% change a lot of those things. For example, the drop rates, right? Which will probably continue with the video and he'll probably say the same thing I just said. Of course they're gonna change it. They want to keep the player base. They don't want the players to be angry or unhappy or just bored playing the game. They have to change it. This is why they're doing these tests.
Right. So noticeably here, he say, personally, I definitely want to improve the adventure board, which is really repetitive, the drop rate, which is one of the biggest complaints I have throughout the video, and the gathering aspect of Brew Protocol, or like to call touch grass aspect. So now you know that every single thing that I complained about was legit, and it was definitely...
It's the touch grass aspect, but it's got the negative effect. Every single time you have to go and collect grass in that game, it just decreases your real touch and grass potential. Or your IRL.
But unfortunately, they're looking to address it. Originally, I was gonna make a segment here about how if they don't address it, then Brew Protocol will fail because people don't really like that amount of grind. But it looked like they're already looking into it, so maybe we're safe.
It's not that they don't like that amount of grind. I like a lot of grind as long as it's not repetitive, tedious, and just boring. I don't mind grinding out. A really good game that had grinding on lock was, in my opinion, when I first started, my first ever MMO was Metin. And I don't mean the OG Metin because that game was kind of slow. I mean like the private server Metin that I was playing on, like a Polish server. Dude, that was amazing because that is just like pure MMO grinding where you've got like a giant instances of maps, crazy loads of maps. You go from one place to another. You just constantly farming, constantly getting better, constantly getting gear. You just keep on going and going and going and going. And you can play for months. The highest level is 250. And you've got like gear progression. You've got bosses. You've got random world boss spawns. You've got like fucking events and stuff like that. Like crazy amount. That was such a beautiful MMO. No like dungeon instances. No end game raids. For example, like Lost Ark has like end game raids. WoW has end game raids as well. Like raid instances. It was mostly just overworld farming with people or without people, and you got like low drops for like to get keys with special dungeons that are like specifically for a boss. You need to party up with randos or with friends to go and get some gear. You can sell it. Yeah, there is good aspects. The grinding aspect was nice in that game. The bad thing about it was the gear progression and the fact that you could completely fuck up your gear if you don't have specific items to save your gear if it fails on home.
Anyway, yeah.
Enough of
this
my,
video only briefly covered
MMO
the
run.
problem with the progressive
guys.
system as well as the combat system, and doesn't really show a lot of the other stuff that Brew Protocol has to offer. And so if you would like me to showcase those as well, let me know it in the comment below. But I feel like this is definitely one of the biggest and the most important thing to talk about, since these are things that nobody else has been talking about, as you don't really observe these in the trailers or in the gameplay footage that they provide to you and stuff like that. So yeah. That is pretty much it for this video, and as always, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, TenTen. Overall, a good video. I kind of, halfway through the video, I kind of had a feeling that they were gonna change a lot of the things he was complaining about, mainly because it's such a... The fuck-ups are so big, there is no way people would not talk about them. You know? The fuck-ups are so big that there's no way people don't talk about them, and there's no way people aren't voicing their opinions and their frustration about the game. And the devs have to look at it. The devs will look at it. They will see it, and they will have to change it in order to get as many people back in the game as possible. They'll run another like beta test after they make those changes and ask people if that's good enough. If that's not good enough, then they'll run probably a last one. I'm guessing they'll run 2 more betas. That's gonna be my guess before they release the game. But you know, I don't know the roadmap. I don't know anything about this. It's like the first Brew Protocol video, proper Brew Protocol video that I've seen. So yeah, if you guys know anything about the game, any ins and outs, or like when it's coming out and all of that stuff, just please let me know down below, you know. Oopsie Lamau. What do you mean? Delete the message? Oh yeah, you can delete your own message. Okay. Thank you for the link. I appreciate that. But yes, no, great video. Thank you, TenTen. I'll drop his links down below. You probably know TenTen. He does a lot of other Genshin stuff. So a lot of like not Genshin, but like a lot of other gaming content too. So yes. Good video. Thank you, man. I appreciate.